Good morning. Sorry for a little delay in the start time, little technical difficulties. But welcome to the April 9th, 2024 School Board of Manatee County regular meeting. I want to start with our reading of the district's vision by Vice Chair Spray, and then also the invocation as well.
All right. The school district of Manatee County will be an exemplary, student-focused school system that develops lifelong learners to be globally competitive. Pastor LaRouche, I do not see in the gallery, so I will lean to Mr. Tatum to do the invocation. If you could please stand.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us pray. Dear Lord, we're grateful to come together today in a free country where we can gather together in a democratic way to take care of the resources that you have given us to educate your children, God's children that you've created. We ask for your blessing upon us today as we talk. Give us guidance and wisdom. Open up our hearts to each other and open up our hearts to your wisdom as it flows through us. And as we make important decisions to move the school system forward and to make a better community here in Manatee County. In the name of the Lord we pray. Amen.
Amen. You join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. All right, moving on to the approval of the agenda. The chair has found good cause to amend the agenda to include all items listed under agenda amendments on April 9th, 2024 agenda, updated on April 5th, 2024, and posted to the district website, manateeschools.net. A couple presentation tweaks and fixes when we hear from Mr. Jensen, also just some verbiage changes to some of our items. And so I'm looking to entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
And are we on I legislate, everyone?
Yes.
Now? Okay, I'll probably have to get out and back. Oh, nope, I see the second. We have a first, we have a second. And let's go ahead and vote on the approval of the agenda. That passes 5-0. Item number 6, approval of the minutes. Superintendent Weissong.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, board members. I recommend approval of the minutes from the school board meeting held on February 27th, 2024.
So moved. A second.
We have a motion and a second. And no one lit up to speak. Go ahead and vote on the approval of the minutes from that last board meeting. Passes 5-0. Move on to recognitions. Mr. Barber, we got a special one. Yes. Second time at it, and I want to apologize. But we got it done.
Very special good news story. Y'all come on up and come on down here this morning. It's special for a number of reasons. One is because 2 of our students have been honored. Second reason is because they've been honored by a great community partner, the Boys and Girls Club of Manatee County. And the third reason is the 2 students that are being honored have 2 of the best smiles you'll ever see. So, that's a great thing. But again, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Manatee County named their Youth of the Year and their Junior Youth of the Year. And from the Boys and Girls Club this morning, we have Miss Catrice Estes Allen. She's Vice President of Club Operations for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Manatee County. So, Catrice. And then we also have here with one of our winners, we have Cindy Shreves, the Boys and Girls Club School Club Director at Rogers Garden Bullock Elementary. And then we also have Ton Yeek Benson, the Teen Program Manager for the Boys and Girls Club of Manatee County. So, we're going to start with the youth winner of the year. Her name is Elizabeth Osibajo.
Osibajo.
Osibajo. I told her I was gonna mess that up. She's very good at correcting me, but she is a special student, and she's been invited as a result of winning this award to join the Take Stock in Children program when she begins 6th grade. She's a 5th grader at Rogers Garden, and there she'll be paired with an adult mentor and have the opportunity to earn a 4-year college scholarship. And we have here with her principal, Michael Scorcio, and he's going to say a few words about Elizabeth. So.
We're very proud of Elizabeth. First, I want to start off in 4th grade. At the end of the year, she was our top. She had the top ELA and top math score of the year. So she won 2 very special prizes from our donors. And this year, she's on her way to receiving the same. She's tracked to get a 5 in both. And she just got a little competition, but she's gonna beat them out, I know it. And she's also in 2 weeks gonna represent us at our math competition at MTC. So she's ready to she's got a great future ahead of her, and we're very proud of her.
Way to go, Elizabeth. I'm just going to stop at Elizabeth. All right. Then the Manatee County Youth of the Year is to my left, and her name is Gracie Jean Charles. She's a junior at Palmetto High School. Gracie was awarded a 2-year Florida prepaid scholarship and will attend a statewide competition later this month against other winners where she'll vie for additional awards. She's an exceptional student. She has a 4.4 GPA. She plays tennis for Palmetto High. She's the secretary of the HOSA Club. She's in the Future Business Leaders of America, Interact, and she's on the National Honor Society. So, again, just a tremendous student, and the Boys and Girls Club not only honored them because of the wonderful students they are, but also because of the people they are. And I think you can just get a sense of them and the people who are here that they certainly do represent our school district and our community very well. So would you like to say anything? Or? Okay.
Hi, thank you for having me. The Boys and Girls Club means so much to me. It's through the Boys and Girls Club that I met so many amazing mentors that have encouraged me to use my voice. The Boys and Girls Club has given me a million opportunities and encouraged me to reach for so many more. And as Youth of the Year, I want to inspire other youth to do the same, to reach for those opportunities and find their own voices.
So now you can see why why the Boys and Girls Club decided to honor these 2 special students. So thank you very much for having us, and that'll do it. You guys can go back to class.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Wonderful to see. Not easy winning those the Youth of the Year. They got to get up and do a speech and do some things, and so it's challenging for young adults and kids to do that. It's fantastic.
But they do get to skip school.
They do get to skip school. That's a positive. Public comments, we had 0 still, so no public comments. We will skip on to item number 9, which is reports and presentations. Mr. Jensen, you're going to give us a report on spring assessment schedule.
Good morning, Chair Choate, board members, Superintendent Weissong. I'm here today to just provide you with a update on kind of the large undertaking our schools are engaged in for the rest of this school year, both throughout April and May, which is our spring state assessments. And as you know, these are the summative year-end assessments that really inform our school grades, our district grade, and student course placement for next year. So this is kind of, the data point at the end of the year that we use to not just to measure what's happened kind of over the course of the school year, but to engage in that continual improvement process and work on all those systems improvements needed in Manatee County to improve our schools and support our students. So although our state testing isn't aligned to a specific item in our strategic plan, I really think this process is kind of aligned to all of the items, right? Because this is one of those major data points, particularly when we look at our goals in Ready to Learn and Ready for Life, that we use to benchmark ourselves as a system, and again, engage in all of the strategic decision making to move our work forward. And so today, I'm going to walk you through kind of the state testing windows, what's going to be going on over the next 2 months, what's already started in the last few days, and then also share some information with our community and families on how they can support students during this testing window. So in April, which we've already begun, we have our Florida Alternative Assessment, and Mr. McCarthy, in kind of compiling this presentation, added the number of students expected to take each assessment next to that, which I thought was a valuable data point, so you can see how many students are participating in each of these assessments. So we have our Florida Alternative Assessment. The big assessment that has currently been underway is our Best Writing Assessment in grades 4 through 10. Already, we have about 22,500 students who've completed that exam, so schools are underway, and things are going very smoothly, and this is the first year of that exam being deployed across all schools. We'll have our Florida Civic Literacy exam for high school seniors, and we'll have our kindergarten through second STAR Early Literacy and Reading exam. That's essentially the FAST exam for our K through 2 students, and all of that's happening in April. Then in May, we have, as you can see, a lot of colored bars, a lot of assessments happening. Schools, work very well with our assessment department to tightly choreograph all of these testing windows, to put the infrastructure in place in schools so that students have a smooth and positive testing experience throughout the month of May. You can see we have our early literacy exam for VPK, our K2 STAR Early Literacy wrapping up at the beginning of the month. Then we also have our senior geometry exam, our 310 fast reading, our science in 5th and 8th and biology that happen the week of the 6th. We also have our civics and US history exams that occur that week. And then the week of the 13th, we have our K through 2 STAR math, as well as our algebra and geometry exams. So a lot of our students will complete their reading that first week of May, and then by the week of the 13th, they'll be through the math portion of their year in assessments. Our schools try to be robust communicators with families about this entire process, both during the process and well ahead of it. So our schools send out letters, flyers with testing dates and best practices. We engage with parents to share those dates. We use Connect Ed to message parents. We post them on our school district calendar, Facebook page. You'll see them on school marquees outside of the school, and we have large signs for walkers and the car rider route so that parents, as they're coming to school each day and picking up students, can also see what's currently going on the campus. And all of that is really to help parents be informed of what's going on campus, and so that parents can help students prepare for spring testing. And our assessment department kind of put together these best practices, and obviously, everyone has a lot of different things going on in their lives, but we share this to try to, again, just inform the community so that they can engage in some best practices so that students, when they arrive on campus, are in the best possible place to be successful on their year-end assessment. So, whether it's not scheduling vacations or time away from campus, tightly aligned to some of those critical testing windows, talking to your student about the tests ahead of time. Does the student know what's coming up? When they walk into school that day, are they going to be surprised at what they see, or are they going to just, I know what's coming, I know what I'm prepared for this coming day? And again, I think a big piece is to not get discouraged even if questions seem hard. One of the biggest changes between the old way of taking tests with a pencil on a Scantron sheet and the new way of taking tests, which are these computer adaptive tests, is that the questions are designed to get harder and easier based on how you perform on prior questions. And so if you're consistently getting harder and harder questions, that means the test is doing its job. It's giving you harder questions as you answer questions correctly. And so the test is almost designed to feel hard, right? Because it wants to kind of test the upper limits of your knowledge. And so just because you get hard questions doesn't mean you're not doing a good job. It might mean you're doing a very, very good job, but it is adapting to what you've answered on prior questions. And so students, and one of the things I've seen as I've been in classrooms in the last few weeks is our teachers are making an effort to help students understand that component of the test. Again, so students walk into each exam feeling prepared, like they know how the exam is configured, what they're going to be facing at the beginning of the testing session, and they don't feel like there's any surprises when they open that test for the first time. The state has also provided practice tests that are available for preview with families, and that's on the Florida FAST website there. And families can open those to see what their students are going to be interacting with, as well as talk to their students about the items or even practice some items with their students. And that's always a good practice because there's all the subject knowledge we've been building throughout the course of the year in our classrooms. But again, these are exams, and exams have secrets and tricks and ways you can kind of prepare to achieve the highest on them, and I think one of the ways you can do that is just by exposing yourself to sample items ahead of time. Obviously, we want all students to get a good night's sleep if possible the night beforehand, eat a healthy breakfast, and arrive at school on time so there's as little stress and anxiety about the process as possible. They can walk into school feeling prepared because them and their teachers have been working hard all year to prepare for these exams, and it's something that our students should take seriously, but not be a source of stress. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions or comments you have.
Excellent. Mr. Tatum?
Good morning, Mr. Jensen.
Morning, Mr. Tatum.
Page 3, please, if we could go back to that, or slide number 3. The Florida Alternative Assessment, 208, what is that exactly?
That's an assessment that's designed for students who are unable to participate in the regular testing, whether it be through the nature of their disability, for example. So it's just an alternative testing structure for them.
Great. And then if we do charter school students take all these same tests?
Yes, sir.
They do? I thought so. Okay. And then if we could go to number 6, page 6. You were talking about these practice tests. Let's say a group of parents wanted to get together, I guess it's a little late now, but they want to get together and do like study sessions in the evening, and like a community. Would the schools be open and available to do something like that, or not?
I mean, I would encourage, any parents with questions or concerns to reach out to the school leadership, because I think that partnership is critical, and I think our schools want to partner with families. Our schools do commit a lot of, our teachers are so incredible beyond their normal working hours, right? So we have so many teachers who volunteer their time in the afternoons after school to do additional review with students, to call parents and walk them through things. So I have no doubt that if we had parents in any of our school communities who wanted to get more information or collaborate with the leadership or teachers at their school to further support their student success on these exams, I have no doubt that they could arrive at a structure that would allow that to happen.
Yeah, you hear about college kids, they all get together and study before the test or something. I just wondered if some parents in a community were looking for a place to get together and maybe have, a weekly study session. Maybe the schools, the principals are probably way ahead of me on this, and they're probably doing maybe some of this anyway. It was just a thought that came to my mind, study sessions, building up maybe a month prior and kind of getting the kids focused, here it comes. And so when they've seen the practice tests and they're not surprised and they kind of know what they're getting into. That was my only thought. And those are the only questions I have. Thank you.
Ms. Foreman?
Yeah. I'm so thankful that we're having less testing these days. The tests, how long of it, how much of the day is that taking typically?
It depends on the exam. So each exam kind of has different criteria. A lot of them have, a lot of the newer exams have set windows for students, so maybe the exam lasts 120 minutes, but students can take up to half a day or the day if they want to continue working on it past that point. And so it's kind of this is the formal end of the assessment, but students who need to take longer can take longer on it. And then of course there's students with accommodations for increased testing time on these exams too. So it depends on the exam. School schedule, certain rooms to have longer testing periods, and then some rooms are just flexible where, students kind of have that 120-minute, for example, hard stop at the end of the exam. So it depends on the assessment. Each one is slightly different.
Do the exams ever start like when the bell rings in the morning? Or I'm concerned about the tardiness, if a bus is late, if students come late. We start later?
Our schools are very considerate and mindful of that. So we do like to start as early as possible because you may have multiple testing sessions in a day, for instance. Again, it depends on what's happening on campus that particular day, and we maintain a very robust master testing calendar across all schools to inform that. There's a lot of upfront time. So there's, the time where you're getting kids into class. Kids are finding what room they're supposed to be in. They're getting into class. They're starting to go through the instructions. They're starting to prepare for the exam. So there's kind of a buffer there, as well as, the school may build in a buffer if they have any concerns about students arriving late to campus. And we also have, throughout these windows of time, we have makeup test windows. So if for some reason a student is sick or a student wasn't able to make it to school on time that day, there are multiple opportunities for them to make up the exam at a different session.
Do our schools provide free breakfast on test days for everybody?
I would have to,
Every day.
Every day.
yeah, our schools.
Oh, it's every day,
Yeah,
not
have free
testing
breakfast.
days.
Yeah.
Oh. I didn't know that. Okay. Thanks. And then the writing test, how is that scored? Is that electronic, or they actually have people sitting there reading them?
So this is the first full year of implementation of that exam. To my understanding, and I'll confirm with Mr. McCarthy and follow up with you, there will be human scores for a percentage of those exams. So maybe 40 or 60% of the exams are human scored, and then there'll also be machine scoring for the balance of the exams. AI scoring.
That's all I had. Thank you.
Ms. Spray?
Yep. Slide 3 and 4. I just would like you to elaborate on what STAR early learning and STAR early literacy. I'm guessing it's.
Absolutely. So when the new state assessments aligned to the best standards rolled out, Cambium, the company, had really took control of the grade 3 through grade 10 assessments in ELA and math. And so they were the ones who designed what we call the FAST assessments, and that's what we use, grades 3 through 10. They partnered with a company called Renaissance, which provides what they call the STAR assessments, and those are our K through 2 assessments. And those are kind of our, they're not part of our accountability formula at this time, so it doesn't contribute to school grades. But they're useful exams that we use the data from to, again, inform instruction across those grade levels. So those are the kind of companion exams that are used in K through 2 at the same time we're doing our 3 through 10 testing in FAST.
Okay. I just wanted a little more information on that one. That's all I had.
Thank you. I just wanted to say thanks for scheduling all this, really taking into account the geometry and when the EOCs are happening and things like that. Because I think that testing fatigue is definitely a real thing, and to have a couple weeks in break time between geometry, EOC, and algebra, and doing your 10th grade fast reading, writing and all that, it's important. So I commend y'all for making the schedule. I know it's not easy doing the testing, and it's not just. I want to make sure everybody knows too. Like, it's not just the teachers. Everybody on campus is affected by the testing periods. You've got kids who are gone and they can miss your class and go make up, and so there's a lot of adjusting and things like that. So I appreciate everyone on campus, from your testing coordinator to the person who's going to fill in on a planning period, go fill in because someone's sick in the EOC room or whatever. So I appreciate it, all the hard work.
Thank you very much. It's a whole systems approach. Our schools, our administrators, our teachers are superheroes during this process. And then, of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Mr. McCarthy and his team who put together the calendar annually for the board to approve. They're actually already working on next year's calendar. He showed me some early different drafts for that. So it's just a constant process of making sure our students are as successful as possible.
I don't see any more questions, so.
Thank you very
so
much.
Superintendent, do you want to add anything to that? No?
I just, I think that was a great discussion, board members. We know that it's a very complex time, so just a shout out to all those test coordinators at the schools. They are behind the scenes, and it's a very thankless job when you're tapped to be the testing coordinator at a school, but they do a wonderful job keeping this on track. And then, of course, a shout out to our principals, because keep in mind this is happening in the context of all of these end of the year events as well. And so the art of leadership right now is to do all of those symbolically important events that people expect schools to be doing, while also staying focused on instruction and on review, so that our students have the best chance possible to show what they know on these tests. So just a thank you to our principals, test coordinators, and our teachers.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jensen. Brings us to item number 10, the consent items. Superintendent Weissong.
Thank you, Chairman. I recommend approval of the consent agenda for the school board meeting of April 9th, 2024.
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second on the consent items, so if we can go ahead and vote on the approval of those consent items, and that passes 5-0. Moving on to item number 13, new business. Right? Yep. Item number 13, new business. Item number 1 under new business, approval of the budget amendments for February 2024. Superintendent Weissong.
Thank you, Chairman. I recommend approval of the budget amendments for February 2024.
So moved.
I'll second.
And Ms. Sellers, if you want to come on up.
Good morning,
Morning.
Board Chair, board members. The month of February, we saw 737 budget amendments. There were 19 chart strings that were over $1 million. This was related in the general fund and in the capital fund. In the general fund, 14 of those chart strings was related to the Florida DOE Red Book, changes in an object code for non-voted millage revenue. So we had 7 programs that they now have to have their own object code instead of being rolled up into one. So remember, those programs is the STEAM, the instructional, ASME, SAMP, paraprofessionals, charter schools, and hourly non-bargaining. So each of those had to have their own object codes now. And then also we saw one chart string where we had an addition investment revenue of $1 million. And then the capital fund, we saw 4 chart strings. In the local capital improvement, there were 2 chart strings. This was related to moving the school maintenance budget over to Brandon River High School's re-roofing project. That was $1.8 million. And then in the impact fees, 2 chart strings to move the new middle school North County construction budget to the budget for permitting and advertising, and that was about $1.4 million. That is all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't see, and I know you briefed us all in the briefing, I don't see anyone lit up to speak or ask any questions, so appreciate it. Moving on to item number 2 under new business, Superintendent Weissong.
You need to vote, Chairman.
Yeah, we gotta.
Yep, sorry. Jumping ahead. Let's go ahead and vote on the approval of the budget amendments for February 2024. Sorry, I had the speaker screen in front of it. That passes 5-0. Now we'll go to item number 2, Superintendent Weissong.
Thank you, Chairman. I recommend approval of Resolution 2024-003 for reimbursement of expenditures for new elementary school, North County Rye Ranch, and new elementary school, Artisan Lakes.
moved.
The motion?
I will second.
We have a second, and Dr. Weissong, you just want to explain what
Yes.
the approval is?
Thank you, Chairman. I'll give you a quick overview, and then we'll leave the hard questions for Mrs. Sellers, if there are any. The purpose of this resolution is to give us some options related to the two elementary schools that are listed. Those schools are on our construction timeline to open in August of 2026. So Deputy Superintendent Rinaldi and his teams are ready to get moving on planning and design, which means we're going to incur some expenditures that would be paid out of the capital budget. This resolution gives the board the opportunity that if it chooses in the future to use a financing vehicle to pay for the construction of those two elementary schools, then these initial costs related to planning and design could be reimbursed, rolled into that financing vehicle in the future. So this is simply preserving the board's option to free up the capital funds that are going to be used initially for other purposes as a later date. If the board chooses not to use a financing vehicle to cover this construction in the future, then the resolution is essentially moot.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it for your explanation. Ms. Foreman?
Yeah, I just had a couple questions for Ms. Sellers. Have we, to your knowledge, have we ever done this before?
So last year, when we had the COPS for 2023, the authorization for that particular COPS actually occurred 2 years beforehand. So this particular provision actually got written when we created it in, I think that was May when we issued that COPS for 2023. They actually wrote that reimbursement provision into that COPS because it had been prepared so early. So this year, when we let them know that we would be looking for a vehicle for financing through a debt, which would come back to the board in October, this coming up October, for issuance of that debt for these projects. They recommended that we had the resolution now, just so that we would be able, the district would be able to capture the preliminary expenses, and then if we do issue that debt, we will be able to, right when it's issued, we'll be able to get immediate reimbursement for the expenses that we've already paid from our own funds.
So this was a recommendation of who?
The bond council.
Great. Okay. You're looking out for us. Thank you.
Yep, all right.
Thank you. I think that was all the questions. Let's go ahead and vote on the approval of the reimbursement resolution for expenditures for the new elementary school, North County Rye Ranch in Artisan Lakes. And that passes 5-0. Item number 14, new business, no superintendent recommendation. Item number 1, acceptance of resignation of Citizens Financial Oversight Committee member. Ms. Spray, I'll send this to you and
Yes,
elaborate some.
Miss Katie Booth is leaving the state, so she submitted her resignation. The CFOC was aware of this at their last meeting, April 3rd, so we're still looking for members to join the CFOC. So,
Awesome. Thank you very much.
yeah.
So we need,
Is that in the form of a motion?
Okay, make a motion that we accept the resignation of Katie Booth from the CFOC.
I'll second.
Thank you, sorry.
so we have a motion, a second. Any other further discussion, board members from that end? Okay. Go and vote on the acceptance of the resignation of the CFOC committee member, and that is approved 5-0. Item number 2 under new business, with no superintendent recommendation, discussion and possible appointment of value adjustment board member. Ms. Foreman?
Yes, thank you. Every November when we have a reorganization, one of the items on the assignment of board members is representation on the Value Adjustment Board. And I'm coming to the end of my second year on that committee. And let me explain a little bit about what the committee is. It is a board made up of one school board member, one a citizen with with a commercial business or property appointed by the school board, two of the county commissioners, and then a citizen who is just a citizen residing in unincorporated Manatee County. And the board meets for its organization meeting in August, okay, which is why the timing of this. And then that person, and the organization meeting is instructional, so they want that person at the August meeting to be on the board for the actual hearings, which we just had one yesterday. Typically, that's all that there is in time commitment to the adjustment board. The adjustment board did hear a case. These are people that are coming with a petition to have the decision of, they go before a special magistrate first, but it's basically an appeal process where special magistrate says, no, you don't get the homestead exemption, and they can come before the VAB and plead their case. We did have one case that we did accept their request, and so for that reason, we will have another meeting in a couple of months, one more in this cycle to decide that case after, because it's got to go back before a special magistrate. So, timing-wise, it doesn't really fit with our November to November timeline. They're asking that we give them the names of our two people for basically starting August 1. Now, the person that we have two seats to consider. The citizen seat, or the capital citizen, is Brady Chapman, who's done this, I think, 2 years, maybe 3, and he has he is willing and interested in continuing to serve. So I will request, or I'll make a motion that we appoint Brady Chapman for the period August 2024 through July 2025. Golly. And then the other one is our board seat. And because this is an election year, we don't know what my status will be come August. Oh, no, November. We know where I'll be in August. So for that reason, I would like to step away from it for a year. Okay, I really enjoy it. I think it's just, I really do. It's really wonderful. But I'll step away and then ask to get back on after if I should be in this seat a year from now. So I will have two motions. First, I will ask that the board approve the appointment of Brady Chapman as our citizen person for the period August 1 through July 2025.
All right, let's take that one first.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we got a first motion and second. Any discussion on Mr. Chapman?
Oh, no.
Okay. All right, so we don't have to do that in I legislate. We'll just do it physically unless you have it ready, Laura.
That's right.
I made the motion.
Ms. Foreman, second was Ms. Messenger.
Oops, I didn't was.
Sorry, that was me.
Okay, I hit it too fast, sorry.
Is it Grady or Brady?
Brady.
Brady.
It's Brady.
With a B.
Brady.
Brady served on the Citizen Financial Oversight Committee for a number of years, and
Right.
he's,
Can you just fix that in the notes?
I will fix that. I apologize.
All right, she'll fix it in the minutes. All right, so Mr. Chapman is back on for the year in your second motion?
and my second motion, well, no, I would like the board to
Oh,
consider who they want, and then we can,
Can I just point out a couple things when the board discusses it?
Yep.
One, the meeting cannot be held unless the school board member is there. So if you agree to do it, you have to be there. You cannot not be there. The meeting cannot be held. So I just want to make sure that whomever wants to do it understands. It is a commitment. It's only a couple times a year. One's the reorg and one's all the hearings. And I know what you're saying because I remember being handed this wonderful committee, Value Adjustment Board, when I joined, and it was an in-between time. And they had already had the reorg meeting, and I kind of like stepped into whatever was there. So I do appreciate you doing this now because there's value in whomever that is on it to be part of that reorg process as well and at least get to know the people. It's not a big time commitment unless the VIB chooses to adhere and agree to the appeal.
we could
I
have.
want to hear that story.
Yeah.
But I just want to make sure that whomever agrees understands that you cannot not be there. You have to be there by law. That Value Adjustment Board is set in statute.
Right. Their clerk is, and she wants the name early so that she can contact
sure. get it
the
scheduled.
people on there, and then she will accommodate, she'll send it out and say, does this day work for you? So it's not like it's set in stone, you gotta be there on a certain day. Oh,
Yes, go ahead.
Just to chime in. So presently, Ms. Foreman, you are the member, but you can elect an alternate, and the alternate is Mr. Tatum presently. So even if the primary can't be there, as long as the alternate can attend, you're okay.
Right.
So just want to make sure that you should probably consider selecting both the primary and the alternate today, if you're going to do that.
I agree with that because there has been times where I couldn't make something work and Mr. Kennedy was my alternate and he would have to show up and he was already an old hat addict because he had done it before too. So, but I do agree that
yeah.
there needs to still be an alternate because
You're welcome.
someone's got to be there.
Okay, so who wants it?
I'll do it. I don't mind. Like you said, it's not a huge commitment. You're saying how many times it meets a year?
Typically twice.
That's not,
This year it'll be 3.
this year
So,
be
But
three.
I'll finish up this
Up until
cycle, so this third meeting
August.
I will handle.
You'll
and
take
then-
that, and then they'll notify, and then we probably need so Mr. Tatum would still be the alternate, or we need to decide that too, I guess, don't we?
Well, you wanna
Right,
start
let's
with?
start with this one. I'll do
Well-
that one.
Yeah, we'll start with you being the original.
It's very interesting reading.
Right,
It's always very interesting,
Mm-hmm. It is, and,
but it's not easy just because it's so interesting, but it is,
well, there's a lot of,
obviously there's emotion behind it because,
right.
Yeah, it means home. So we need a motion to amend our original group.
I would suggest that.
Okay. So,
So I'll move to make Ms. Spray the primary member of the Value Adjustment Board,
I'll second it.
Effective the next term.
effective when
That
the next term.
begins
August
November, and
August.
August, okay.
Right.
all right, so we have a motion and a second. Ms. Cox, you get that?
So the motion is to appoint Cindy Spray as primary value adjustment board member.
For the
Correct.
next term.
Next.
Commencing
Effective
August
August 1st.
Commencing August 1.
And that will go from 24 to 25, correct?
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Or longer, should you desire.
Okay.
And you may, it's really,
Yeah, I know some of the people that are on that, so I think it would be fascinating.
All right, so we got our motion, we've got our second. We go ahead and vote on
Who is the motion was made by Mr. Tate,
Mr. Tatum,
and then who is the?
I second it.
Ms. Foreman.
Ms. Foreman.
All right, there it is. Go ahead and vote on appointing Ms. Spray as primary value adjustment board member. That passes 5-0.
Thank you for volunteering.
Yeah, thank you. So moving to we have a primary. Do we want an alternate? Mr. Tatum's the current alternate. Do you want to leave it? Change it? Rearrange it?
I would ask that you be the alternate.
Okay.
Simply because come August, November, we may have
A change.
a change, and so therefore, the only two that are stable, committed members of this board are the two of you.
Okay.
I'm fine with it.
Okay with that? Okay. So are you making that motion?
I move that Chairman Chad Choate serve as alternate to the Value Adjustment Board for the period beginning August of 2024.
Shall I accept? I'm
Shall-
kidding, I'm accepting it.
I'll second.
That's a second by Mr. Tatum.
So the motion is to have Chair Chad Choate
Serve as the alternate.
serve as the alternate.
For the same time period.
I just started the rumor mill, I think.
I am serious. I mean, that's not gonna violate sunshine if I hear the value adjustment board's reasoning for that. I mean, cause like, sitting on there, like, it's very, you can't vote against the magistrate unless there's like a specific legal reason.
Or,
So that's, I am interested.
okay, or the assessment, or the facts.
Right, the facts.
And how they assess the facts.
It's very specific on what you can approve or deny, so that's gonna be, but that doesn't violate sunshine if I hear what the value adjustment, she voted on the value adjustment board, right?
I just don't want to state it from the dais.
No, but I'm asking legally, that's okay if I ask her later.
Yeah, I mean, it's
It's
It's public record.
yeah, it's public
and
record.
there's a video of it somewhere.
Yeah, I was about to say, there's gotta be a video of it
Okay.
somewhere.
It'd be fascinating.
All right, so we all voted and the motion passes 5-0. Thank you, Ms. Foreman, for bringing that up. Moving to item number 15, I know they're mainly informational only, but I do want to move to item number 2, Ms. Sellers, which is the year-to-date charter school financial statements, summaries through February 29th, 2024. And just for public record, that it's out there, if you elaborate on a couple, we appreciate it.
Yeah, so the financial statements that the district gets from all of the 15 charter schools, that includes SCF, we receive once a month, and we compile this and we bring this to the board every month. And I wanted to highlight that when we monitor their unassigned operating balances, we do take note of the charter schools that have a deficit in their operating unassigned fund balance. And this month, we do have 2 charter schools that have deficit fund balances. One has had it for 2 consecutive months. One has had it for 4 consecutive months. Now, the charter school that has had it for 4 consecutive months, we already notified them when they hit the 3rd consecutive month of the deficit unassigned operating fund balance, and they provided us a corrective action plan, and that plan has been submitted to the Commissioner of Education, and it's in the process right now of being reviewed by them, and we should be hearing from them as soon as we have the charter school give some follow-up information to them. So I just wanted to let you be aware that we do monitor those balances and have contact with the charter schools.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 17, updates. Mr. Jensen, I know you were up here earlier, but you again.
All right. Thank you again, Chair, board members. Just a few instructional updates. First, we have our Math Superstars competition. Actually, one of the young ladies for our recognition today will be participating in it. That's April 27th from 9:30 to 11 a.m. at MTC. It's hosted in partnership with the American Association of University Women, and we have teams of 4th and 5th graders from our elementary schools participating in that competition. So it should be a lively, exciting celebration of math. We also, as you know, we're currently in our science adoption process. That committee met on April 2nd at the PSE to make their final recommendations, and those recommendations will be presented to the board at the 423 meeting. So you'll see those coming up soon. We also had students participate in the State Science Fair in Lakeland, Florida, April 2nd through 4th, which is an amazing and exciting competition full of our student research. And we had several students win awards at that competition, which is thrilled, and I apologize to those students in advance for if I butcher their names. From Manatee High School, we had Camille Gao, who received a certificate for outstanding research from the Florida Foundation for Future Scientists and was selected as an alternate candidate for the prestigious National Youth Science Camp. We have Kipris Vitas, who is nominated by UCF to receive the Gold Scholarship valued at $14,000 over 8 semesters. From Southeast High School, we had Brooke Queekin, who received the Florida Gateway College Scholarship valued at $1,000. Gabriela Mendes, who received a certificate for outstanding research from the Association of Women Geoscientists Foundation with a 1-year student membership to that association. Alexander Stanny from Southeast received a certification for outstanding research project from the Florida Association of Science Supervisors and a cash award. And then from Dr. Mona Jane Middle School, we had Sebastian Lemke and Sylvia LeBron, who did a team project, and they received a certification for outstanding research from Big Springs Regional Science and Engineering Fair, coupled with a cash award and a recognition award in the behavioral science category. We had Juanita Gomez, who received honorable mention in the environmental engineering category, and Kinley McCaw, who received a 4th place award in the animal sciences category. So congratulations to all those outstanding young researchers. We look forward to seeing how their research progresses while they're in school and all their future endeavors. We also have on Thursday the Manatee County Arts Exhibit featuring artwork from our pre-K through 12 student artists from across the district. That'll be at Art Center Manatee with opening night Thursday starting at 6 p.m. with a short awards ceremony. And that exhibit will be on display until Friday, April 26th at that venue. And finally, from our adult career and technical education team, we have some teacher recognitions. Our business teacher at Southeast High School was named the FBLA State Advisor of the Year, and our teacher from Nolan Middle School was named HOSA Advisor of the Year, which is outstanding. We truly have some incredible CTE teachers in this district. We also have the MTC HOSA had 2 first place winners and 1 second place winner at the state competition. They will advance to the national competition. Our National Technical Honor Society induction is tonight at MTC Maine starting at 6 p.m. We also have 120 MTC students going to the Skills USA State Conference. And for students interested in MTC or any of their dual enrollment programs, registration is now open. So if students are interested in pursuing coursework at MTC or through them for dual enrollment, we encourage them to sign up quickly for those opportunities and join the 1,400 kids currently enrolled. Thank you, board members.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Operations, Mr. Rinaldi.
Safety first, Mr. Rinaldi.
I know, geez, he had his water bottle there. Good morning, Chairman Choate, board members, Superintendent Wysong. A couple quick operational updates. Human resources first. The operational job fair was held on April 4th. That was our most recent one. We had 88 candidates who came. Of those 88 candidates, 6 positions were offered, 5 were in food service, and 1 additional custodian was offered. For transportation, 3 bus drivers and 11 attendants were selected to move on to the next phase, which for the bus drivers is for them to obtain their permits so that they can get their training. So very, very successful. The annual Great Florida Teach-In will be occurring in Lakeland this Saturday, the 13th, and we will be in attendance. It's from 9 a.m. To 4 o'clock p.m. Our spring teacher paraprofessional job fair will occur at MTC on Saturday, April 20th from 9 until noon. So that's one of our big events that we have as well. Construction services, we just had our groundbreaking yesterday for the Blackburn Elementary School project. The work will include a new 40,000 square foot building that will house administration, art, music, dining, and the main cafeteria, along with some classroom buildings. All of the other buildings on campus that are going to remain will be fully renovated and remodeled, new lighting, new ceilings, new painting, new cabinetry. So we're moving forward with that. This is the 4th of 5 COPS projects. So right now we have $145 million worth of COPS projects that are en route under construction, and we've got one more that was still under design. In the consent agenda, you approved construction for the Media Center projects, Canaan, Lincoln Middle, Moody Elementary, Palmetto, and Stewart Elementary. This work will commence this summer. Upgrading furnishing, upgrading the IT, upgrading lighting, and all of the finishes in those media centers as well. So we're moving forward with those. Finally, food service. We're pleased to announce that Jennifer Johnson, the cafeteria manager for Seabreeze Elementary, is a recipient of the 2024 Congressional Education Award. This award gives congressional recognition to outstanding public school teachers, administrators, and for Ms. Johnson's support staff in Florida's 16th Congressional District, with a focus on their skills, leadership, and the ability to inspire students. She was nominated by Principal Mavalatis and Assistant Principal Blackmore. The award will be presented by Congressman Buchanan at MTC on April 19th, so congratulations. But that's my summary for the day. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Legal, anything from? No?
Nope.
Thank you. And Superintendent?
Thank you, Chairman and board members. I'll begin where I usually do. I appreciate your leadership in reviewing and approving all of the items on the consent agenda. Today we brought you 14 items that allow us to continue the routine operation of the district. I'll just highlight 2 pieces. The first is there were a few student travel approvals that were on the agenda. This is the time of year where we have students heading out to represent Manatee County at national competitions. Today you approved a group of students heading to Charlotte, North Carolina for a STEM Formula One challenge. That's a very well prepared group. We've got a group going out to Los Angeles to participate in the National DECA competition, and then finally a couple of students who've qualified for the National Debate Championships in Chicago. I got to meet both of those students last weekend at an event, and they're going to represent us very well. So this is also a great time to remember that behind all of this student travel are faculty sponsors who are taking time away from their families to lead these activities and chaperone, and we appreciate all of them for giving these students the opportunity to shine nationally. The other item I wanted to highlight, board members, is you approved the acquisition of additional touchless security screening solutions from Evolve Technologies. These are the firearms detection systems that we've randomly deployed at a couple of high schools at a time throughout the year, and the additional purchase that you authorized today allows us to move as an additional layer of campus security to universal daily screening at more campuses next year. And I wanted to thank you, board members, for your leadership in investing in school safety and creating that additional security posture at our schools. We'll certainly be sending out information to students and families prior to the end of this school year. Today is the first step in that process with your approval of the purchase. We've also placed on our jobs page on the website an advertisement, because we'll need a few additional school guardians for next year. So that is up and available for members of the public who may be interested in that opportunity. And again, we'll be sharing more information with families soon. In terms of other highlights, board, again, I appreciate your support in allowing me to attend last week's Florida Association of District School Superintendents Conference. That is part of my ongoing professional development as a new superintendent, and in addition to getting a lot of information, it was a great opportunity to just talk with other superintendents and ask questions and compare notes, and we always learn a lot from each other, so I appreciate the opportunity to do that. As a bonus, on my way out of Orlando on Friday, I was able to stop in another part of Orlando and see part of the Health Occupations Student Association State Conference. And it's just awesome to walk into a conference center and you see 3,800 students who are impeccably dressed and well prepared to compete. And as Mr. Jensen said, we had 5 students from Manatee County who now qualify to the international conference, which is in Texas this year. And it was just great to be able to pop in and thank all of those advisors who, again, were giving up multiple days away from their families so that our students could compete. And then I was got back in time to join you for Arts Alive Friday night, and I'll leave that for you all to talk about. And then Mrs. Foreman and I were back at it Saturday morning at the Southeast High debate tournament. Mrs. Foreman was there all day judging the contest. And again, everyone from Principal Collins down through the custodial staff was there so that students from multiple counties could participate in that event. And so thank you to Kathy Strait, who's the sponsor, and all the Southeast High employees who worked on Saturday so that students could have that opportunity. Finally, board members, I'm looking forward to our workshop on Friday. We've got 2 topics that I know will be of great interest. The first is the transportation update, to share with you some of the enhancements that Mr. Rinaldi, Mr. Clark, Mr. Warrington have been working on for next year. And then also board members will give you an update on the Code of Conduct Committee and their thoughts on the cell phone policy, which was an item that you asked us to bring back and take a look at, and we'll be asking you for your feedback so that if we're going to make a change to that policy, we're able to get that all set up and able to communicate to students and families before the end of this year for an August start, so that there are no surprises. So that'll be the focus of our work on Friday, and then whatever comes from that will bring you additional items to vote on probably in May. So looking forward to that discussion. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Board comments. I've got Messenger, Tatum, Foreman, Spray, and myself. So, Ms. Messenger.
I don't have much to say other than Arts Alive was wonderful, as Dr. Weissong mentioned. But I just want to thank everyone for putting together the groundbreaking yesterday at Blackburn Elementary. It was really wonderful. I feel like it's been such a long time coming, and I'm just so excited. So thank you. That was it.
Mr. Tatum.
Okay, so let's start off with some good news. I was able to go to Parish High School and watch the Little Mermaid play, and that was really cool. It brought back memories of my days. I was kind of an athlete in high school primarily, but in my last semester as a senior, I was actually the bass in the barbershop quartet and the Music Man, which was our high school musical. So, and that was one of the best things I ever did. And it kind of opened up my mind to the arts as someone who'd kind of been, athletically focused. So it matters. I think the arts are important and we should be supporting them. So it opened up my mind, surely. A little bit of maybe not so good news is from the safety standpoint, is I've been noticing a lot of youth drivers that are kind of unsafe lately, just weaving in and out of traffic and pulling out of schools. And there's behind the neighborhood where I live, there's kind of it's not really a country road, but it's a road that kind of winds a little bit with some lakes around it. There are houses there, and apparently people think it's a racetrack because they bring their motorcycles in their cars. And I actually got out in the middle of the road the other day kind of and slowed one of these kids down, and it rolled down the window, and I said, slow down. And these kids were like, whoa, what's our problem? Like, you're doing 55 in a 25 zone, slow down. So I guess I would just add, we were all at that point in our lives one day, we all look back when we were 17 or 18. I think I might have taken the family car for a little drive before I had my driver's license, but had my permit, a little drive around the neighborhood one time. Wasn't real smart on my part, but maybe the teachers and the principals could just say a little word about this traffic safety thing, because when we kind of laugh about that kind of stuff. We were all young and wild at one point, but someone's going to have something happen, an accident, a wreck. They're going to hurt somebody, or they're going to hurt themselves, or they're going to destroy property. It's going to be a life-changing event for them, as well as maybe somebody else in the community. So just passing that message along through the principals and maybe the teachers that you got a car, great, it's a privilege, it's not a right, it's a dangerous piece of equipment, and be careful when you're out there on the roads. So. And then as a point of administrative cleanup, sometimes people, I know when I was watching these board meetings before I was on the board, there are a lot of acronyms that get thrown around. One of those was COPS. I didn't know what COPS were at first. I thought we were spending, $100 million on the police force of Manatee County Schools or something like that. But just to let people know, that's actually money that when we say a COPS project, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Sellers, but this is money that we have borrowed to pay for capital expenditures, typically like schools and things like that, as opposed to maybe money that's already in our capital fund from sales tax and other revenue sources. Would that be a correct statement about what a COPS fund is?
Right, when we get it'll be a debt that we end up getting issued that we will pay back on over time, and it's to pay for new projects or renovated projects that we have. And this reimbursement is just,
right.
resolutions just to capture some of those costs for paid out of the capital fund.
So sometimes we buy things because we have money in the capital fund, like in the bank, so to speak, and we use that to pay for capital projects, which are building and infrastructure. And then sometimes we go out and borrow money to do those things based on the financial situation, whatever your staff feels is best. So I was just making that point that a COPS project is money that's been borrowed to provide infrastructure for the school system, as opposed, quote unquote, to money that's already in the bank. Great. Thank you very much, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Ms. Foreman?
Yeah, it stands for Certificates of Participation.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And yes, it is like issuing a bond, and unfortunately, with the cost of construction and new schools, even though we just did a COPS, we're probably going to be doing another one eventually. So anyway, since the last meeting, yeah, the Arts Alive was absolutely wonderful. It was just, the performances were fantastic. We have a lot of talent in this district from our students. Saturday was the debate tournament over at Southeast. Had a blast. Got to judge a couple of debate tournaments, or a couple of debate rounds, and very, very, very impressive. We've got some, I couldn't judge when our Southeast students, but these were from surrounding communities, and the youth is showing a lot of critical thinking and reasoning skills, so I was very impressed. Also, it was held in the new science building over at Southeast, which I hadn't seen before. So that was pretty cool. It's a beautiful building, and they just moved in January. The And then yesterday I missed Blackburn because of the Value Adjustment Board. And sorry about that, but as Ms. Messenger said, we have to go, so. And then I want to point out, I want to pay special homage to our media specialists. And I did not know this until recently, but April is the school library month. And there's a school librarian's day, which has already passed. But I would like us to remember to do a resolution on it next year, you know, because the state has on their website the last any mention of School Library Month was in 2021. And the last resolution I found from the governor was April of 2019. So I don't want to forget them, you know. And the 2021 notice to superintendents from Jacob Oliva, I want to point it out. He says, I'm pleased to announce Florida's observance of School Library Month in April 2021. Each year, our school districts and Florida citizens take time to recognize the programs, services, and resources provided by school libraries. School libraries play a critical role in supporting quality learning environments, and school librarians directly support and enhance student achievement. Quality library programs close achievement gaps for all learners by providing equitable access to academic resources and by promoting and encouraging a love of reading. Due to the essential correlation between school libraries and student achievement, funding for school library programs remains a priority in the state of Florida. So I just want to recognize our media specialists. They've been through a lot. They're continuing to go through a lot, but they're an essential piece of the success of each school. So I thank them. That's all I have.
Thank you. Ms. Spray?
Okay. I've been to every tennis court in the high school system, have been to matches. They're moving on to district championships now, so I want to wish all of them the best of luck. The student from Palmetto here, I've seen her play. She's very good. I plan to be out there again today, actually. So I encourage everybody to help support our secondary sports. There's a lot of things. I've got a bucket list, Mr. Rinaldi, I briefed a little bit on that for that sport that we need to look at maybe. And then resignations, there's a lot of people who have resigned, anywhere from 6 all the way up to a first grade teacher, 32.5 years. Miss Nancy King, I want to say thank you for your service to the district. And then career counselor, 29.9 years. Might as well say 30 years. I'm sure there's a lot of after-school activities with students, mentoring them, Mr. Roderick. I always like to say at least thank you to all of those who resign and leave our district for one reason or another for their service. I attended the Leadership Manatee Awards where Mr. Jim Boyd was honored with that prestigious award. It was very emotional for him. I found out some things I did not know about him and a monkey. So that was kind of cool.
2 monkeys.
Yeah, 2 monkeys. It actually did end up with 2. I did attend the Arts Alive. The 2 students that sung the national anthem competed to have that honor, and they were just so cute. It was adorable to watch that. And then the CFOC is working diligently on their annual report. They got the information that they have. Hopefully, they actually planned a special meeting for May 22nd to review that final report, and hopefully we can get that on the agenda for the entire board to review. And I just want to, we do safety over secrets, so let's remember that. But I also want to say that we're in a customer service business. Whether we're picking up students, or we're teaching students, or we're feeding students. That's what we're in. And we have to remember that our customers are the community, whether it's a child, a teacher, or a bus driver, or support staff. We're community-based, and we have a lot of community partners, and there's a lot of good things that goes on in our district, and I just want to, just every time we have a good news moment, it kind of gives you that grounded reason why we're here, and I just want to say thank you to all the people who are behind the scenes. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Staff, thank you for the meeting, Dr. Weissong and your staff. It's always, I know they're already working on next meeting's consent items and agendas, and that's how we move this big ship forward. So I appreciate all y'all's work, and to the safety point, as we get here towards prom season and things like that. I know my daughter, being the junior class president, is getting ready for prom and gearing up and all that kind of stuff. Safety for sure, as you're heading to prom and having fun. But also thank you to the class sponsors at each school, each high school. It's a huge endeavor to take on and be a junior class sponsor and be responsible for home, or for prom and doing all that kind of stuff. So thank you to the staff. Thank you for the staff that'll volunteer to be chaperones. So a lot of stuff happening here towards the end of the year, testing and all the exciting stuff. Some sports ending up. I know track has the county meet this later on this week. Weightlifting had theirs last week. So a lot of stuff culminating here towards the end of the year. I can't believe it's already April 9th. It's absolutely insane. But look forward to the workshop on Friday. Thanks everybody else for a great meeting, and we are adjourned.